Hello Taurus, how's it going? I hope you're really well. My name is Diane and we're going to do a general reading for May to see what comes out. You are very welcome here. Thank you very much for taking the time to check out the reading, you know, whether you are new here or whether you're one of my lovely subscribers. I really appreciate it. And if you feel like liking and subscribing for me, I would really appreciate that as well. And I also have a new channel out, Taurus. I just started it recently. It is called How to Train Your Caterpillar, and it's a spiritual life coaching channel. So if you feel like checking that out, I would really appreciate that. I will leave the link in the description box below the video. So I'm going to start with one of these bad boys here. Oh, that came out fast. Expectations. Don't seek anyone's approval. That is awesome advice. Also, I did my fake tan yesterday and I kind of messed it up a little bit. I got a bit overzealous, so like if you see my fake tan hands, which I'm sure you can, excuse me for that, okay? Got a bit trigger happy. Expectations. Don't seek anyone's approval. So better advice you could not get. Also, that adds up to a number 3, so there's definitely growth here. So I feel like you're breaking free from the need for somebody's approval, right? Maybe it's just society in general. Maybe it's your family, maybe it's friends, maybe it's like one specific person. Let's see what else comes out. Be joyful and trusting. These are beautiful cards. Also, that's a very nice card for a Taurus to get because the turtle is kind of a slower moving energy and it talks about like an old soul, you know. So yeah, being joyful and trusting. I feel like maybe you're cutting ties with someone or some people from your past and kind of maybe moving into an energy of being more open, because this is a blue, it's very blue, which is kind of putting me in mind of the throat chakra. So you might be, I don't know, kind of standing up to people that have maybe tried to get you to live life their way, or there's maybe just something you need to say to someone or some people that you've been trying to get off your chest for a while. But I feel like doing that, I feel like the release of doing that is going to make you more, like it's going to let your walls down, right? Like you're going to be able to, because you're speaking up for your own needs more, it kind of means that you're not, like it helps you let go of that resentment and the bitterness, you know. And I speak from experience here. Like if your throat chakra is kind of closed all the time, you end up being kind of bitter because you never get your needs met, right? Because nobody ever listens to you, nobody cares, right? Whereas when you start to really step into your power and kind of grow, and you do things without needing anybody else's approval, you know, you're having your own needs met, and it allows you to kind of connect with people on a different level because you're not constantly seeking their validation, right? I hope I've explained that well. I know what I mean to say. But yeah, you may have been always in an energy of, because there's something to do with your past, or very recently anyway, maybe for a long time, but very recently anyway, being in some, like an energy of feeling like you can't trust people, you know, and maybe not experiencing true joy because you always had to like try to make other people happy, maybe something like this, or try to meet their standards, or like it says, like meet their approval. Okay, what else for Taurus, please? You have the 3 of Wands. Take the lead. So you are stepping into some kind of leadership energy. Some kind of creation. That's 2 3s you've got. You're creating a new life for yourself here, and it's to do with you taking charge. It's to do with you like no longer giving an ish about what people think of you. I am picking up like a connection to family in some way for some of you. Like it could be deep-seated kind of you have to impress your parents or something like that, right? Or you can't step outside the family norm. You have share the love, a number 3, another number 3. So again, I feel like you're opening up. This is your heart chakra. It's, I'm going to try and explain it. Sometimes I feel like I can't get the words, but it's because you are no longer having to keep up a facade. It's really allowing the true you to come through. It's going to mean you don't care so much what other people think, and it's going to make your heart chakra open because you're going to have more compassion for other people because you're having it for yourself. What you do to yourself, you do to others, right? So once you're embracing the true self, you're going to show the true self to others, and it's going to allow you to have more open, more trusting and joyful relationships with people, because you're not going to have to constantly be watching what you say or watching what you do in case they judge you, right? I mean, you're still not going to be able to murder people. You know what I mean? You still live in society, but you know what I'm trying to say, right? Probably don't go around kicking puppies and stuff, like, you know, people aren't going to like that, right? Not that you would if you could, but what else have we got here? You've got a number, oh my god, you have another number 3, you have the 3 of Swords. Sadness and isolation, but you know what? This is healing. The 3 of Swords is a healing energy. It's coming out of sadness and isolation. Because I feel like in a lot of ways, because you were always trapped inside this box, or like watching your mouth or watching what you said, it made you feel alone because you were with people that didn't really know you. You know what I mean? You were with people that didn't really know you. Damn. You're definitely going through a huge period of growth here with all these 3s. That is wild. I can't believe you got all 3s. That is mental. Let's just get one more from this deck. You have, oh, I don't know which one that was. Let me reshuffle. I'm actually going to go into a different deck. No, am I? Yes. Okay, let me just move those guys up a little bit. So I'm going to go into this deck here. I'm going to go into this one. Sorry for changing my mind. Okay, what else for Taurus, please? Establish boundaries. Wow. And it's earthy as well, you know, brown earth sign. So yeah, you're really, I want to look at this one as well. It's interesting that you got the darker colors here, because these 2 literally never come out. So you have brown, establish boundaries, which is another 3. So you're really moving into a period of growth here. Again, you may experience, because this is what always happens, you may experience a bit of a pushback. Once you start to not give an ish what other people think and do things for yourself and let the real you come out, saying the things that you want to say, doing the things that you want to do. For example, like maybe you come from a family where they wanted you to go into a certain job, right? Say they wanted you to go into the family business, I don't know, and you're like, sorry, the replay from Supernatural went into my head there. That's deeply ingrained. Family business, you know, but maybe you don't want to be in the family business, so but you've kind of suffered in silence your whole life, and now you're like, no, I'm not doing it, right? You're going to experience pushback from that because your parents are not going to be happy, right? Or the rest of the family are going to be like, what, you're too good not to be in the family business, right? But you're going to have to put those boundaries in place and be like, no, I'm not doing it. This is not your life. This is my life. I will say and do whatever I want, and if you don't like it, you can get gone, basically. That's what I see going on here. I mean, it obviously doesn't have to be with your family. It can be with like people in general in your life. You know, maybe you're always around people who want to make you drink, right? Like maybe you have a big group of friends that are always like, hey, come to the pub with us, and you're like, you know what, I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I don't want to drink anymore. And they start being like, ew, check out Taurus, like, too good for us, right? And try and pressure you into doing something. But you're gonna have to like establish those boundaries and be like, no, I'm not doing it. Because I feel like this is the real you coming out now. And you also have the bottom of the deck here, you have black. Find richness from the dark night. So you may have been going through, now this may not be for all of you, but for some of you, you've been through some kind of dark night of the soul. And who was it that said this? I think it's David Hawkins. I'm sure it's David Hawkins. It could be Alan Watts, I can't remember, but one of them said it's like often true freedom and joy is preceded by the dark night of the soul. I'm sure it's Hawkins that said it. So you may have been going through some kind of dark night of the soul, but now you're coming out of that into the light and stepping into the true you. Because what the dark night of the soul does is it shows you all the things that are not working for you, and it shows you like the toxic energy you need to get out of your life, or it shows you the toxic habits you need to get out of your life, and it shows you where you really want to be, because you know where you don't want to be now. You know what I mean? Also, this is a number 10. So if you have been going through a dark night of the soul, it's over now. This is you coming out of it. I see you being very clear about what you want. I mean, you may not be entirely sure where you're going yet, but I see you being very, very clear about wanting to express who you are and what you want, and speaking up for yourself. Because maybe you have a particularly intimidating like mother or father, like if you're a guy, you know, and your dad was always like, that's not how we do things in the family, you know, blah blah blah, like you're gonna go and get a job and then you're gonna get married and then, you know, all this kind of stuff, and you're like, no, I don't want to do that, not doing that, okay? Alright, what else for Taurus? You have, let me just reshuffle these because I kind of feel like I dropped them. Clarify the Three of Wands for me, please. I do feel like there's some kind of ending, because that was the Death card that came out. What else for Taurus? Okay, another 2. Right, wow, yeah. Endings and new beginnings. You have the Judgment card. So I feel like this has not been a short time in coming. This is something that's been building with you for a long time. So this is the Judgment, new beginnings, starting a new life, finding your purpose, a forgiving and compassionate review of the past. So you're taking the lead in some kind of, it's a rebirth of your whole life, because you've come out of this dark night of the soul, and it's literally it's like a whole new life. You know, the Three of Wands is coming out of the past, facing the future and being ready, taking the lead, taking action, creating a new life for yourself. This is some kind of calling. If you have not, there's going to be something that you're very called to do career-wise, is what I want to say. Or at least, like, if you don't work, there's going to be something, like some kind of hobby or something like that you feel really, really called to do. It could be traveling or something. But the Judgment card talks about being called to do something. But part of this is that you're being called to establish these boundaries, leave some toxic people behind, or at least stop giving an ish about their opinions, and moving into this new you, this new version of you. Because that is literally what the Judgment card talks about, like moving into a new version of yourself. You've also been reviewing the past. There may have been one situation in particular, or it could be like your childhood, or, you know, a past relationship, or it could be forgiving yourself. There's some kind of, it's like you're taking a new look at things that have happened in your past, and you're kind of putting them to bed, putting them to rest, and moving on. You know? So it could be, I don't know, for example, like maybe you had a particularly tumultuous relationship with an ex, and you're like, okay, we're done. I'm moving on. I forgive you. We're moving on. However, the Three of Wands and the Judgment card can also talk about a reconciliation. So maybe some of you are going to reconcile with someone, but I feel like there's something, there may be a healing conversation that comes in for some of you. But the Judgment card also talks about wrapping up loose ends so that you can step into this new beginning. So I feel like you're not quite in this new cycle yet, but it's very, very close. And you have the King of Cups underneath the Share the Love, the Three of Cups. So I really feel there's a couple of things here. You could be about to start dating a water sign, a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or you could be about to start dating this King of Cups energy. There could also be a Libra, but it's someone very, very sweet, very, very in control of their emotions, but very, very sweet, very compassionate, very generous. That's for some of you that are looking for love. For those of you that are not, and also, even if you are, I feel like this applies to you too. I do feel this is you opening up, like opening up your heart space, trusting. Because this card talks about, like in this deck, yes, it is safe to trust. Also talks about following your creative passions. So some of you are going to start something creative, something that you're called to do. But this is you opening up and trusting. So if it's not a specific person as well, if you are looking for love, like I feel you're going to be dating and like opening yourself up, because you may have kept yourself very closed off because of things that have happened in your past. That's the theme of the reading. You have kept yourself very closed off because of things that have happened in the past. Now that could be going back to childhood, it could be a relationship you had 5 years ago, it could be a friendship that went belly up. You interpret it how you like, okay? And you have the Temperance card, solutions. So there could very well be a reconciliation in some way here, Taurus, with some of you. Because you have two reconciliation cards, the Judgment and this is Temperance. It's called Solutions in this deck, but it's the Temperance card. So the Temperance card comes after something has ended, right? Or something has changed. Because you've very much, I think, been in this kind of Three of Swords energy of, yeah, I feel like isolation. I feel like even if you've been surrounded by people, you may have been feeling alone. You know what I mean? Like, none of these people understand me. I feel like you know, like she says in Titanic, she's like, I feel like I'm standing in a room screaming at the top of my lungs and no one looks up. It could have been like that for you, right? Like you were surrounded by people, but none of them actually listened or gave a shit about anything you had to say. So you just felt completely alone, like completely misunderstood. I mean, you could have been physically alone as well, but I feel like it's peace. You're about to get some kind of peace here. Now it could be there could be a conversation coming with someone that's going to lead to definitely forgiveness, if not a reconciliation. It's a very healing energy that's going to take you out of this Three of Swords. Okay, you have the Nine of Pentacles here. You know what? I just want to get one more of those color cards from down there. What else for Taurus from this deck, please? You have purple, developmental clarity, and that's another 3. So this is the third eye color. I always take this kind of purpley color to be the third eye. You also have a lot of this purple in your reading, so I feel like your third eye is kind of opening up. So, or it may already be open, but it's maybe opening up more, because the third eye is all about tapping into that inner wisdom, like your inner intuition, because I feel like you've always had this inner intuition, and you've maybe, for some of you anyway, you've maybe ignored it because you wanted to fit in with people, or you wanted to meet society's expectations, or your family or your friends' expectations. Like maybe you've always been kind of psychic and you've kind of blocked it out, right? Because you're like, oh my god, everyone's gonna think I'm a weirdo, like what would my mother say, like oh my god. But there's mental clarity that has come to you from getting out of this dark night of the soul, because this is what the dark night of the soul does. It makes you sit with yourself for a long period of time. And it's not fun, but it is necessary for you to develop the clarity to be like, this is not working. I shouldn't be around this person. I shouldn't be doing this. This is not right. I should be able to say this, that, and the other thing, right? This kind of thing. And I feel like you've been through this dark night of the soul, and now you're coming out and you've got all this mental clarity about what needs to be done. And one of these things is establishing boundaries, taking control, taking the bull by the horns, as it were. Taking the lead, taking the bull by the horn. Like being in control of your own life, standing up to people and being like, no, I'm not doing that, right? Or maybe it's your boss, you know, maybe your boss is always trying to work you into the ground and you're just like, no, that's not going to be happening. Ace, oh my god. You have the, yep, I'm going to take that one as well. You have the Ace of Swords here with the Three of Wands, the Judgment, and you have the Ace of Swords here. So this is some kind of new beginning. For some of you, this is a conversation that is coming, okay? It might be you that instigates it because you have the Take the Lead card there. It may well be you that instigates this conversation. It may lead to a reconciliation, or it may lead to closure so that you can move on. But there's a conversation coming here for some of you that's relevant to. Like it may be multiple conversations, you know, maybe you have to have these conversations with your friends and family, like, no, you're not going to push me into that anymore, I'm not doing it. Don't speak to me like that. That's not going to happen anymore, right? Or like I said, maybe this is someone from your past, but I see a conversation here. And the Ace of Swords is also starting something new, but the thing is, it's brand new. It's like a brand new life, taking control. Like reviewing the past so you can release it and being like, that doesn't affect me anymore, I'm moving on. Ace of Swords, mental clarity, seeing through the bullshit, seeing what needs to be done and doing it. And you have the Knight of Cups here. Some of you have a water sign, like a relationship with a water sign coming towards you, or someone who's very, very sweet, very, very loving, very, very generous, warm, very trustworthy. Someone who, they will be a really supportive partner, like really, really supportive. But again, I feel like this is you as well. With the Knight of Cups here, like opening yourself up to the world. Dating. Falling in love. Let's get one more from this deck. What else for Taurus? You have the Six of Swords. So whatever this conversation is that I feel like a lot of you are going to have, it's going to be very liberating for you, and it's going to lead to the end of a difficult situation. Six of Swords here. So the Six of Swords talks about, you know, the end of a difficult situation, like moving into harmony. So this conversation that's going to happen is going to allow you to move out of a Five of Swords mental energy and move into harmony. It can also be with that Five of Swords, you may be around people in your life that are very toxic. Like you've poured so much of your time and your love, possibly money as well, into the situation. It could be a job, right? You know, you've poured all this time into it and nothing's changed. the people don't change, the situation doesn't change. It's just a waste of time. It is a waste of time. For some of you, it's a mental mindset you've gotten yourself into that is a waste of time and energy, and you're going to be moving away from that. So like I say, for some of you, there's a conversation that needs to happen with someone. I feel like you're probably going to, if that's applicable to you, you're going to know who I'm talking about. Okay? If that's not applicable to you, because I feel like it's you that instigates this conversation. If that is not applicable to you, then this is a mental mindset that you're getting yourself out of, and coming into a feeling of real peace, real like temperance, harmony within yourself, finding solutions to this sadness and isolation feeling. What else for Taurus, please? Okay, you have Syrians, artistic, integrity, honesty. Yeah, this is really, you're really moving into your own integrity here. Like, I don't mean that you haven't had integrity before. I mean in the way, like when, like concerning yourself, right? You're no longer doing things to please other people. Like, you're no longer like watching your mouth or watching your actions or jumping through hoops to make other people happy. Because I do feel there's some people in your life, or one person, or just society in general, that you feel like you have to fit into the box, right? Or you always felt like you had to get their approval, you know what I mean? And you're just like, no, I'm not doing that. Because the things that you want to do not fit in with whatever this person or these people are trying to get you to do. So you're moving into your own integrity. And there's honesty coming here, I think. I do really see like a very honest conversation coming. Maybe it's being honest with yourself. That's probably another thing. Being honest with yourself about like, what is it you actually want in life? Who is it you want to be with? What is it you want to do? Because it's like with this Judgment card, it's like Spirit is stopping you and being like, enough. What is it you want? What kind of life do you want? You know, what is your calling? What is it you want to do? Because you could very well be about to do something very artistic or very spiritual, because you have all these cups right here in the middle of the reading. You know, you could be about to go into healing. Like maybe you're, like I said, maybe you're very psychic. Because someone was having an argument with me about this in the comments not that long ago. Like, I think Taurus are a very psychic sign. Because, you know, in the Rider-Waite deck, the Hierophant is represented, it's Taurus, right? Excuse me, I think Taurus are a very psychic sign. I don't think they're psychic in the way that... It's like a different kind of psychic from the water signs. Like Taurus, like, you're so connected to the earth. You know, I feel like you just have this kind of natural intuition and gut feeling about things that come up like from your gut. I feel like that's what makes you very psychic and very kind of intuitive and spot on. And it's almost just like an inner knowing that you generally don't, you know, you just maybe take it for granted a lot of the time. But I do feel like for some of you, you kind of block it out. Because like there's maybe something very psychic that you wanted to do, or something very artistic, and people in your life have been like, you're not doing that. You're doing, that's ridiculous. Like, no. And I feel like this is you coming out and being like, no, actually, that is what's happening. You don't control me. I will be who I want. I will say what I want. Yep. You have the Taurosians. I think that's how you say it. Resilient, bold, and sassy. See, I think this is you. You're really coming into a period of like being bold. Maybe you're going to be sassing people. You know, people that are like, I think that's a stupid idea, you doing that. Me, that's very irresponsible, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to be like, I don't care. It's my life. You can't stop me. I mean, obviously don't hurt anyone. You know, like if these actions that you're taking is like, you know, don't abandon your children or anything like that, obviously. But, yeah, I feel like you're really just moving into this period where you're just like, you've had enough. You're just like, I don't care anymore. Like, I'm gonna live my life the way that I want to. I'm gonna do what I want, and if you don't like it, get lost. And I feel like once you've, that's the thing about establishing boundaries. Like, if you're really bad at it, like the first time you do it is terrifying, but then you do it and nothing really happens, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna do it again. And then you do it again and it feels great. And then you keep doing it and it just feels great. And then it makes you be like, what else can I do? You know what I mean? And that's maybe when you're gonna really, really come into your own. And also, I do feel, I'm surprised the 7 of Wands hasn't come up, because you may have to kind of fight to be heard. You know, there may be a lot of people that are one person around you that's not going to like this, right? But again, I think I said it at the start, people generally don't like it because it's inconvenient for them, right? Who cares? You're not there to be their little bitch. It's your life, you know? Like, what are the, you know, would they give up what they were, you know, would they give up their passion for you? Probably not, right? So just bear that in mind. People generally don't, like, that's the thing, if it's a toxic energy, they're generally not going to want to see you grow. That's generally how you can, like, easily tell between, like, good people that you want in your life and toxic energy, you know? Because, like, a good friend or a good, you know, someone that has your best interest is going to be so happy for you that you've grown, you know, or you're trying to grow, whereas toxic energy wants to keep you stuck with them because they can't grow, they don't want to grow, they don't want to change, they don't want to put in that work. It's hard, you know, it's not fun being in the dark night of the soul, but tough. If they don't want to change, then you know, are you going to stay stuck with them forever? And it sounds kind of selfish as the thing, but I just want to say one more thing about it. I think this is another Hawkins reference. I can't remember if I talked about him earlier, but he uses the analogy of, like, we're all kind of ships on an ocean, right? And when you ascend, the whole water level rises, so all the ships ascend, right? So it may feel like selfish, right? Moving away from toxic people who need you, right? But you can't grow if you're constantly surrounded by toxic energy that's not letting you grow. So it's actually not selfish. You're actually, big picture, you're actually helping save humanity. Right? So look at it that way. You have the water element, reflection, kindness, compassion. Some of you may very well have a water sign coming towards you here, or they could have, they don't necessarily have to be water, but they seem very soft, very kind, very compassionate. Also, this is 2 cards here that you have of water, so I feel like this is you kind of going into, you've been very reflective, I think, recently, very, very self-reflective, thinking about things from your past, thinking about the way things have worked out, thinking about what you want, thinking maybe about elements of yourself you'd like to change, you know, like having better boundaries, right? This kind of thing. I feel like you're moving into a kind of softer energy where you're more in touch with your emotions, and you're going to be able to share your emotions more with people. And like I said, it's going to really help. I feel like it's going to really help establish better connections with people, maybe new people in the future, right? Or like, because I feel like you're moving away from some toxic energy towards kind of newer, more open energy, because you're kind of leveling up, right? You're kind of wiggling your way out of, like, toxic energies towards different people that are more open. I feel like that's what's going on. But the thing is, in order to attract that kind of energy, you have to resonate at that level. So I feel like that's where you've got to now, you know. I want to get some of these, and I want to get some of these. Okay. What else for Taurus, please? Ignore the haters, boo. Keep going. Yeah, pretty much exactly what I was saying, right? So you may have a lot of people around you that are trying to keep you stuck. Because like I said, you know, people, they don't like to see you grow, right? Toxic people anyway. You know, it's that kind of energy. Even simple things, like if it's a toxic person and you're trying to work out, you know, they might come into the living room and like make fun of you or something, right? And be like, I don't, like, you're not doing that properly, or like, that person that you're watching, she's not very good. She didn't even do a warm-up, right? Anything to try and get you to stop growing, right? Or like, you know, maybe you're incorporating more fruit and veg into your diet, right? And they're like, check you out. Like, what are you eating? That smells disgusting. Like, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? All these things that are kind of meant to keep you down and make you feel stupid for trying to grow, or call you selfish. That's another fun one. So you know, I feel like you're really, I want to say, they're putting the image in my head of literally like this plant, like it's like you're coming up, it's like you're growing out of the, I don't want to say dirt, because that's not what the image that I'm trying to get in. Like you're blooming, you know what I mean? Like you're like this beautiful green plant, like growing up out of like this toxic energy and like flowering, and it's like now you have space to expand because you don't have all this like heavy dirt, toxic energy around you. You know, I can't think of a nicer way to put that. That's what I'm seeing. But they're saying, you know, because when you are trying to grow, like you do get a lot of people that are like, oh, you're so selfish, like, oh, you've changed. That's another one. You've changed. Like, yeah, you're meant to. That's what you're supposed to do. So keep going, you know, because there may also be people, you know, making fun of you for getting into the psychic thing, or getting into in control of your emotions more. Maybe you come from like a very hypercritical family, or a very like emotionless family, and they're like, oh, you're such a, I don't know, you're such a baby now. Like, why are you always like tapping into your emotions? You're such a wuss. Ignore it. Just ignore it all. Keep going. You're going exactly where you're supposed to be. What else, please? I feel like I just dropped them. What else for Taurus, please? Also, what I want to say about this card, sorry, I keep going back to it, but it puts me in mind of the Angel Answers card. Like, there's a card in that deck where she's like swimming with the dolphins, and then she's kind of rising up to go towards the surface. And when someone's in water like this, it always makes me think that they have been acquiring knowledge. So I feel like you've been in this dark night of the soul, kind of acquiring knowledge, and now it's time to come back up to the surface, right? And like be free. That's what I keep getting with you. It's like coming out. Some of you might actually be coming out, but like breaking free from like being underwater or being under the earth, and like growing your, like spreading your flowers, you know, blooming, you know, like a tree, like growing out like that. And I feel like it's a much more peaceful time you're coming into, because you're really being able to express who you are without fear, you know, because you don't care anymore. It's very freeing for you, and you feel very peaceful. You have faith, it's coming. Okay. What else for Taurus, please? What flipped over there? You have life purpose. Ah, that's what that is. So you may not know what your life purpose is at the moment, but it's coming, okay? That's what they're saying, because you may be feeling a bit lost at the moment. Like, you may be in this kind of energy where you're like, I don't know what I want to do. I know I'm not happy where I am, but I don't know what I want to do. But I feel like you're being prepared. So they're saying you have some kind of life purpose here. This is what this Judgment card is. Everything that you've been through with these toxic energies has been preparing you. I feel like you couldn't go where you needed to go in the future without having established these boundaries and been through what you've been through, okay? But there's some kind of life purpose that you have, and if you don't know what it is yet, it's coming, alright? It's going to be some kind of calling. You're going to be creating something. With this Ace of Swords, it may come to you in a, like, almost like a vision. Or you may see something on the internet and be like, I want to do that. Or yeah, there's going to be some kind, it's almost like a vision, because you have so much purple here. There's just going to be like this mental clarity. And that's the thing, once you get out of a certain energy, things just like fall into place like dominoes. Okay, you have your intuition is on point. So this is what I was talking about with all this purple. The third eye is all about intuition. It's about following. There's like an inner knowing, being able to see clearly, being able to see through the veil, yes, but also being able to see certain actions that you need to take here. Being able to see through people's bullshit is another one. You know, the third eye is all about I see, right? So you are really, really following your intuition at the moment, and I feel like it's because your third eye is opening. Let me just get the things on the floor. Hold on, Taurus. So don't be questioning your intuition, because again, you may be someone that didn't usually follow their intuition, right? But I feel like you're following it now. And that's kind of what's giving you this confidence, because there's a particular confidence that comes when you really tap into this third eye, excuse me, intuition kind of energy, where you're basically unshakable, because you know it's the inner wisdom that you have within yourself, and it's like an unshakable knowledge. That's why you're going to appear a lot more confident. Excuse me, that's why you're coming into this very resilient, bold energy. Also, yeah, I can't remember if I said this, you may have to be resilient because you may have a lot of haters at the moment. Don't worry about that, okay? Don't worry about low vibration, low energy people trying to make you feel like shit. Just ignore it. It won't last forever, I promise. And you have, this is also a very orange card. So I feel like your sacral chakra is also opening, because the sacral chakra is all about, excuse me, Taurus, it's about the seat of the soul. It's about your intuition again, and it's about expressing your emotions. So you may have had a rough childhood, or you may have had, doesn't always have to be your childhood, I'm just using it as an easy example. Like, you may be from a family where emotions were kind of frowned upon, right? You know, it was like, you just do what you're told. Like, we're a very traditional family, you do what's expected of you, you do what you're told, you know, or you get a clip around the ear or something like that, right? Where there just wasn't even any room for discussion. Your emotions and opinions are not valid, belittle, right? So you may have just learned to shut the sacral chakra down. But I feel like this is you, because you're starting to show your true self and not give a shit. Your sacral chakra is going to be opening up. You are learning to listen to your emotions, learning to share your emotions, because before, you know, with the sacral chakra, sometimes when it's closed, you don't even know what you're feeling because you've learned to close it down so much. Like, if someone says to you, like, what are you feeling? You may have to think really, really hard. You know, you may come out with like, I'm hungry. If that's not a feeling, that's an emotion, that's a physical sensation. Or like, I'm tired. Yeah, again, that's a physical sensation, right? So, that may be something else for you. What else for Taurus, please? So don't question your intuition at the moment, okay? The truth comes out, oh my god. So this is, I swear you're going to be having, yep, right underneath honesty. I think there's a conversation or multiple conversations that you're going to be having with people where you're speaking your truth, or this is just in general, like your throat chakra is opening, your sacral chakra is opening, you're going to be sharing your emotions, speaking your truth, the real you comes out. Good for you. And you know what else? When you are in that energy of the real you, it's very difficult for people to affect you because you don't care. And they can kind of sense that. Like, once you step into this kind of energy, people can kind of sense like how strong you're feeling, and they tend to kind of leave you alone a bit more. So it's almost like once you get to the point of courage, they tend to kind of, they can sense the change, and kind of leave you alone. It's not going to happen right away. You know, they're still going to fight you on this, but they will recognize there's been a change in your vibration subconsciously. They'll recognize it, and they'll respect you more for saying it. And you have count your blessings as well. So, okay, you have count your blessings, and you're trying to do too much at the bottom of the deck here. So you may be getting a little frustrated because you may be almost like in no man's land at the moment. Like maybe an old cycle has ended and you're not currently in the new cycle. You might be feeling a little stuck, but that was because they were trying to get you into this self-expression, being yourself, speaking your truth, this mental clarity, establishing boundaries kind of energy. Okay, make sure you're taking time to relax. Don't get frustrated. I feel like your energy may be a little scattered, okay? Because I feel like you're getting frustrated, and you may also be in an energy of being not ungrateful, but sometimes when you're very distracted and you're trying to get to a certain goal, all your energy is directed towards the goal, and you kind of don't stop so much to think about all the good things that are going on. Like maybe you're like, oh, I'm so tired of being in this stuck energy. You know, I don't like my job, I don't have the job that I want, or like I'm not with the person that I want. It's annoying. But the thing is, you're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. So the best thing that you can do is just sink into the moment. Count the blessings that you have now. Like you may not have, you know, maybe you're stuck in a crap job, but I see you starting something new. I don't think you'll be in it for very long with this energy. So, and the same with like love. Like if you're not in a place at the moment where you have like a lot of friends, or you're feeling kind of alone or something, that's not going to last. Okay, this is very temporary. So one of the things you can do to raise your vibration as well very quickly is to count your blessings. And I know that's not something you want to do if you're really down, but overall, like as a kind of long-term solution, any kind of blessings, right? You know, like I'm grateful I have food in the cupboard, I'm grateful I have a bed to sleep in, I'm grateful I'm not homeless, you know, I'm grateful that I have my health. And when you do this, it attracts more of that abundant high vibe energy to you. So if you're feeling a bit out of sorts, maybe like a bit lost, one of the things that you can do is kind of just, and also it's very Nine of Cups energy. I feel like you have a lot of blessings coming towards you. You actually have a wish fulfillment coming towards you, and I feel like part of the wish fulfillment is simply being able to live your life and be who you are, because I feel like you're really stepping into freedom and your power. And the thing is, once you've done that, the other blessings will come. Like attracts like I'm trying to say, like it's once you're clearly leveling up and getting to a high vibration here, so that's when the other blessings are going to start to come in. So with the Nine of Cups, you may not be at the 10 of Cups, but you are exactly where you need to be at the moment. That's what they're telling you, okay? So the best thing that you can do is like count your blessings, be grateful for where you are, and just kind of be in the moment, you know? I'm gonna get a couple from this deck. Oh my god, you've come into your own, continue to move forward. Wow, I don't even think I need to talk about that one. So this is you've really come into your own. Just keep going, all right? Because I know what it's like. You feel like you're lost. You're like, okay, so maybe I lost my friends and my family hate me now. What do I do now? Or like, maybe I have to leave my job. Where do I go now? They're gonna show you, okay? Just keep taking baby steps. Keep moving forward. You haven't done anything wrong. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Even if there's people telling you that you're selfish and that you suck and you shouldn't be doing that and you're wrong, you ignore that, because you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're coming into your own. Like I keep saying, toxic people don't like to see you grow, okay? This is spirit telling you like, yeah, we're proud of you. I'm gonna get one more from this deck. Am I? What else for Taurus, please? I'm going to take both of those. See, again, this is Six of Swords energy. You have a desire to move on and search for something more meaningful. So that's putting me in mind of Six of Swords energy, which is what you have down here. So the end of a difficult situation, moving from feeling stuck, maybe a toxic situation, to harmony. I mean, look at that. Look how still that, look how beautiful that is. That's where you're going, or that's where you're literally stepping into now. So, you know, this could be jobs. It's, you're not happy where you are, okay? And there's a reason. It's because you've outgrown it. You've out-vibed it. And yes, it's kind of sad in some ways, maybe if you have to leave people behind, but you've outgrown it. You need something more meaningful. And you're coming into something a lot more peaceful. You know, because like I said before, maybe you have a lot of friends, you know, maybe it's like, hey, let's, and there's nothing wrong with going out for a drink and being, you know, getting drunk and stuff, but if you're not in that space and you don't want to do it, I don't feel like you should be pressurized into doing it by your friends. And maybe it's come to a point, just using it for an example, like maybe you have a group of friends like that who all like, you know, you used to go out and like cause chaos and like have a laugh and a drink and stuff, but now you're looking for something more, and maybe you stopped drinking and now you're like, well, now I have nothing in common with you. Do you know what I mean? And it's not, you're not being a dick, it's just you don't have anything in common. Like, what are you going to do, sit around and watch them get drunk while they slag you off for not drinking? Yay, fun. And you have, you're more powerful than you realize. It's safe for you to be powerful. There is a lot of water in this reading as well. I really feel like you're tapping into your emotions here. I feel like you're tapping into a much more intuitive side of yourself as well, like maybe much more creative, much more psychic. There may very well be a water sign or someone very, very compassionate, very sweet, very loving in your life. Maybe it's a friend. You have Archangel Michael. I am strong and protected by Archangel Michael. Right, Archangel Michael. Now, this is a card about cutting etheric cords. So don't ever pay anyone to cut an etheric cord for you. If you want to cut an etheric cord, so an etheric cord is like an energy cord that attaches you to old situations or people. So if you ask Archangel Michael to come in, you can, I don't know, maybe in a different religion you call him something else, you call him what you want, okay? But you ask him to come in and cut the etheric cord between you and the person or you and the situation. Envision him doing it with his sword of fire, okay? You need to cut some ties here. I don't know if this is a job or if it's people or if it's just an old way of thinking, but you need to cut some ties here. And he wants to remind you that you're protected. Because like I keep saying, you may have a lot of backlash from this new you that you're growing into, right? And it's not easy sometimes. Sometimes it's not easy to stand up against your friends and your family and your job, right? When everyone's calling you a weirdo or this, that and the other thing, and we're calling you selfish. But you're protected, okay? This is what you're supposed to be doing. So don't forget, he's just coming in to remind you that you are protected. You are guided to invoke Archangel Michael to help protect and strengthen you. He will increase your ability to deal with problems. Ask him to cut with his sword any emotional cords which bind you to people, stuck situations, or past memories. Then ask him to fill you with strength and love. He will shield you from the destructive thoughts, emotions, and actions of others. So you can't be touched, okay? You're untouchable. Archangel Michael is with you. And you will notice when you do that cord cutting, you will immediately notice you feel lighter once you've done it. And you can do it with everyone, even with people that you still want in your life. You can still have them in your life. You just don't have that etheric energy cord sucking all your energy. I'm just going to get a couple of these as well. You have Fortune. You have a lot of good luck coming towards you, okay? There's very much an energy here of like, you're very protected. This is more of this kind of like you're protected, okay? You're coming into a very lucky time. There's new beginnings. You're feeling very strong. You're feeling very powerful. Beginning. You have a new beginning coming in here for sure. This is like this is a brand new life coming in for you, Taurus. It's beautiful. The sun is coming out. Hydration. Make sure you're drinking enough water. But yeah, more water. This is to do with like feelings. I really feel like you're tapping into your emotions or your creativity or your psychic gifts, possibly all three because they're all related. Opening up. There may be this conversation with someone that needs to happen where you open up. It's going to make you feel alive again though. With hydration, it's like you're going to feel alive, possibly for the first time in your life, because I think for the first time in your life you're actually allowed to be you, because you're not trying to fit into somebody's box. Or I want to say for the first time in a long time, Taurus. And you have strength, okay? So you're really coming into your own, feeling very, very strong. Don't forget, you are protected by Archangel Michael because you have exhaustion at the bottom of the deck. So you may be feeling really exhausted as well, because look at that, it's just mist. You know, like you may be feeling very confused. You may not know which way you're going, like you're going in a new direction, but you're not sure where it leads to. Everything's kind of misty because you're being led by your intuition, the moon, right? And it's very hard sometimes to kind of keep going when you have people telling you you're wrong, telling you that you're selfish, you know, all this kind of thing, but it's where you're supposed to be, okay? Archangel Michael is with you, making you strong. You are more powerful than you realize. It's safe for you to be strong and powerful. You're stepping into a new beginning. Just make sure you're taking time to rest, okay? Because I do feel like, again, the trees in this exhaustion card and the dark night of the soul card, they're very similar. So I feel like you've been through a dark night of the soul. So give yourself time to rest as well, okay? Don't be so eager, not eager, but don't be like so gung-ho about getting to the next thing, because I think you've been through a lot here, okay? So I hope this was a useful reading, Taurus. Many thanks for watching. If it did resonate, don't forget to like and subscribe for me. If you feel like doing that, I'd appreciate it a lot. And don't forget to check out my new channel as well, Taurus. If you feel like doing that, I'd appreciate it a lot. How to Train Your Caterpillar in the description box underneath the video. Many blessings. Love and light.